we need to be more organized and actually have leadership on board that will create an agenda that will talk about the direction of the board. I don't think it should rely on me because I'm not always going to be able to be at tree board meetings. The whole purpose of establishing a board is to get it to the point where it's pretty much self-sufficient. And it can function whether or not I'm here as the town manager. Because at this juncture, I would be responsible for all council meetings, all park board meetings, all tree board meetings, and whatever else they want to throw my way. And I don't think that's effective. I
think we agree. I think
We should be able to
we're fine with that.
piece of paper on your desk and say, this is what we've decided.
Correct.
Please consider it.
And as long as we're kind of all on that same page, and I know he's kind of pushed back, and I don't know exactly what Annette's position on it is, but I've made it abundantly clear that I can't be at every board meeting. Now, I'll try to be at every one, but there will be times when I simply can't. I'll be either out of town or in some way detained. So that being said, in the spirit of what you and I talked about earlier, and I know the direction that you both would like to go, which excites me, to finally have interested, capable, intelligent people wanting to move forward. So with that being said, we can perhaps, so it's you two, it's Russell, it's Stevie, and Steve. Is that correct? Okay. So in moving forward, we'll need to establish a specific agenda for each meeting. And what we'll do then is make sure that we're following Robert's Rule of Order, where we officially open the meeting. Every meeting has got to be live streamed, according to state law now. So we're live streaming now. But what we can do is just simply say, hey, what we're trying to do is organize at this juncture. But so there will be a call to order, there will be the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll get a reading of the minutes. There will be the invitation to address the council, if any member or if any guests in the group want to address the council. And I can give you council meeting agenda just as an example of what that rule of order is. And then so whenever there is an actionable item on the agenda, you need to get a motion, and a second to that motion, and then a vote as to whatever that actionable item is. We've got a motion to replace 5 trees along Harrison. We have a second. Somebody will second that. Got a motion, second. All those in favor of replacing trees on Harrison? Aye. Those in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Nay. And typically you don't get any nays unless somebody's just diametrically opposed. Tree replacement is evil or something like that. But so as we move forward, then we're supposed to follow that outline. Robert's Rule of Parliamentary procedure, is that's what it's called as well. And then once the agenda is met and all items have been discussed, somebody's going to motion to adjourn. Somebody seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Case happens to be. But the biggest thing is for each meeting, which is the third Monday of every month at 6:30, we need to have the meeting. And unless you guys decide in moving forward, for the next couple, 3 months or whatever, you're not going to, or whatever the case happens to be. If you want to have a meeting, let's have a meeting. And even if it's to organize and plan for next season, create more of a budget, whatever it happens to be. But that agenda has to be posted 48 business hours prior to the actual meeting. So this agenda should have been posted on Thursday.
Who posts it?
Well, typically, if they get it to me, I'll post it.
So somebody has to send you the agenda
Send me the
2
agenda.
days before the meeting.
Yeah,
at
let's
least.
do that for now. And it's supposed to list all board members. And we'll help you with
This is
the
an
second.
outline.
It's essentially that. And it should list all board members. Yep.
So there's that.
Yeah, so we gotta get Zach on there and when he was actually appointed. And then we'll move on from there. But yes, it's supposed to follow that. And then it's supposed to say next tree board meeting will be, and it does, Monday, October 17th. At 7 p.m. Blah, 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 blah. Or 6:30, so we'll change that up. If that gets to me by Thursday, we have to get it to the newspaper. I basically send it to Katie, is what I would do. And you can send it directly to Katie to help streamline the process because she's the one that actually sends it off to the newspaper. She posts it on her website, and then we have to post a physical copy outside of it in the display case. And that way, we're compliant with new state law. But in organizing like this, we can also think, whatever, in terms of tree replacement, we've had several people inquiring about, hey, they cut my tree down 2 years ago. Am I gonna get a replacement? To have somebody actually researching that and determining what's gonna be the best tree for this replacement. Where can we purchase these trees? Is it well within our budget to do, 10 tree replacements, 15? We've got some catching up to do. Gosh almighty, I think we took down nearly 20 trees last year alone. And I think the town policy has always been, if we tear down a tree or take down a tree, we want to try to replace it as much as possible. A lot of times because all they do is grind the stump down 6 or 8 inches, you can't plant right there, so you gotta move it over a little bit. But still, I know when I lived on High Street, we took down 2 trees, one at each end of the property, and within a few days, they put a maple right smack down between where the 2 trees were. And then I later came along and removed all the stumps. So they wanted to, whomever, when I sold the property, they wanted to plant a tree wherever they could. But anyway, all that being said, there's Arbor Day, there's responsibilities with Arbor Day, great educational opportunities for kids. Whether it's events that if you guys say, hey, we'd love to work in coordination with the schools and create events where kids can come out and walk through the park.
Yeah, we're on board with that, right? You're on board with that. I'm totally fine with that. What we don't have right now is a list of all there's apparently some list somewhere that Holly had that you can't find, or maybe you did find,
Trees,
of trees that got taken out and residents that are asking for
Katie
replacements.
and I can compile that list. And so what encourages me about this is, I'm gonna give you my email, and I think you already have my email. You can say, need that list. And then I can go to Katie and we can put our heads together and we can look back at all the invoices from Cutright Tree Service of trees that have come down that we've had to remove for whatever reason. And off of that list, then we can generate a list of, here's these homes, these properties are looking for tree replacements. And, but never really had anyone to send it to because there was no structure, there was no organizational structure. So that's what makes this encouraging to me. So whatever that happens to be, and anything else you want besides tree lists.
Yep, and we have the recommended trees that we took from Goshen.
Yeah.
We were trying to decide pricing wise. I think we talked about that at some point.
What were some of the recommended trees? Obviously maple.
Yeah, well, certain types of maple, not
That's
silver, sugar.
Those the fast growing ones that
Get it out.
develop health issues on pretty early
Oh.
on.
Take a lot of me.
Silver?
Yeah.
Yeah, silver has the root problems
Pull
mostly.
up the sidewalks and stuff.
I've seen the list. I don't know where it's posted, but
I
I've
had
seen the
this.
list.
Okay. You have seen the list too? Okay, I might be able to find some things off of Holly's computer, but I've looked. I might need help with Pro IT, and maybe they can help me locate things. There are certain things that I can get to, and there are other things that I can't get to. But whatever, we can, and you guys have already pretty much consulted Goshen, the
Well,
city of Goshen?
Somebody has, because that's where the tree list came from.
Steve talked to us.
This is all before us, right? We don't know what we're doing. We just came here. We're trying to do something. Steve's telling me that there used to be something up here that they'd go through and they talk about everything, which what Holly used to do, right? And now he's bitching that you should be doing that. So, and I'm not saying you should be.
Right.
Like I'm willing to take on responsibility. You're willing to take on.
Well, and that's easy. And I mean, you can literally, if you have your computer, and I can certainly aid, I can assist with that. That is my responsibility because as the town manager, I have to do that for council meetings. But with all the other meetings, there's just not enough time in the day.
I get it, totally. And that's why, that's what I feel like that this board is for, to do this.
Correct.
work.
Well, and so when they hired me, I was all about, okay, listen, I think we've got all these things and Holly's working 3.5 million hours a week. And, my idea of effective leadership is developing more leadership or locating those individuals who want to get involved and empowering them to do so that we can run a more streamlined operation so that an organization like this can develop its own goals and objectives and then grow and become more than what it could under my leadership. So that's the whole idea behind it. That's what encourages me. I love that you guys are on board with that idea. So all that being said, all this is very simple to do. You turn it on, you sync your
Yeah.
computer with it, and you're off and running.
Sure, we just need access to we'll have to come up, we need that list.
Yeah.
We need to start somewhere.
So what I'm gonna
Notes.
do is I'm gonna provide you my email, and I'll do that right now. You probably already have mine. Rob@townofwalkerista.com. Okay, so what you do is just reach out to me, and then Katie and I will get a list around for you. We'll be as expedient as we possibly can and get that to you, because I don't want what's happened in the past several months, or a few months anyway, to happen. It's like, well, the board, the tree board meeting's canceled, and you show up and there's nobody
Right.
here, or whatever the case happens to be. A waste of your time.
That's the other thing, we need Russell here, or not Russell, we need Randy here.
Right.
We need somebody here.
You need a liaison.
Yeah.
And he's in North Dakota. And so what
And I
happened,
get that.
Yeah.
But we need to know that ahead of time.
but if
Schedule
and
around
when
it.
that kind of thing happens, that's where I can step in and say, okay, I'm a town official. How can I be of assistance? And then we can move forward. And my prayer is that we don't miss a beat then. And instead of it's like this whole monkeys humping a football kind of thing, it's like, well, how can we get anything accomplished here when we don't even know when we meet and what time we meet, et cetera, et cetera. So as we iron out those details, if Randy can't be here, more than likely I can be here.
Yeah, because we don't, I think that's the thing that Steve too, is that, like, we don't need you guys to like have input on the meeting, but if we have a question, we can be like, hey, what does the town think? And the town, you say, the town says no.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, so we're not gonna do that. Instead of spending 30 minutes organizing the whole thing of how to do this very complicated thing, and then we take it to the council meeting and you guys say no.
Yeah.
Because that's a waste of time.
And that's where Randall, as your council liaison, he's the council liaison. He's the one that should be here, is my understanding. And when he can't, I can't. And there will be times when we both can be here. But more times than not, as we continue moving forward, and the busier I become, it's probably going to be. And I think in the past, the previous town manager was at every meeting, is my understanding. And here's what happens. When someone is there and they just assume all the responsibilities, no one else really ever has to step up.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I think I think this, and allow me this analogy, speed of the coach, speed of the team, speed of the leader, speed of the group. And if you guys want to set yourselves on fire and have a group of people come and watch you burn regarding Walker Lucid Tree Board, then you can do that. And there's just so much opportunity where I think we could, and here's what, I think we can make great things happen. And it all goes with what's going to be a new initiative for really revitalizing the town of Walker Lucid. So park issues, things we want to do down here, you guys could get very heavily involved with. Okay, so we want to plant a couple trees down here, down behind the quilt garden, that little green grassy area. There's some things, and even into the park, as we put new park equipment in, we might want to do some things with new trees. And I know we want to. We recently went to Bremen for a meeting, and some of the revitalization they've done downtown involves some really cool placement of trees. And clearly you can tell they brought them in, they spaded them in, and they look great. So not just the replacement of trees we have to remove, but how does that fit with the whole vibe of where we want to go? And I could even see you guys getting involved with JPR, our engineering firm, when they say, hey, we're going to do this comprehensive study, possibly, and this is what the downtown landscape is going to look like. What are some things that we could be doing if we do indeed change some things up or add some hardscape? Can we include, or does it make sense to include trees and so on and so forth? Things in the park, moving forward with the park. We want to add some natural flowers out there and continue to beautify what's out there so more people want to go out there. There's other, in terms of the park board is working on some things in terms of some physical structures that could go out there, shade sails, other pavilions, and so on and so forth. And if you put a pavilion, you don't want a pavilion out in the middle of the field. You want to landscape around it and take some ownership there and make it really pop, if that makes any sense. So there's more than just replacing trees. I love the whole, as you and I have talked, the whole concept of educating kids and getting them to appreciate what we have,
For sure.
and why we want more. So
Absolutely. My stretch goal would be cool to collaborate with the Neighborhood Festival,
Maple Syrup Festival,
Syrup Festival.
Big
collaborate
deal.
with them. We have a person who comes in and does maple syrup, but it'd be really cool if we could involve town streets or something like that.
Yeah.
Some sort of.
And that kind of, so it's like, develop that board of people, that group of people that make it their mission to promote it, and then it's going to grow. And the entire experience, the festival experience just gets that much better. So that's what we're looking for. So again, right now it would be YouTube. We got to work on getting, if you don't mind, just email me. Let's make sure that he gets put on the actual board. He's listed as a member. I think what you guys want to talk about then is, okay, who's going to be technically, president, vice president. I don't know if you have a secretary and a treasurer. I'm not sure exactly how it all works. I know with the council, they've got at-large members and so on and so forth. But I think in terms of a board, or a president, and it's not to say that the president lords power over everyone. It's just these are the offices.
1%. So say, Rob, this is what we got from our last meeting.
Correct.
That way you don't have a funnel.
So you have a secretary who typically takes you minutes. Obviously, a treasurer keeps track of your budget, et cetera. Vice president does. And then you're supposed to have the liaison. And when Randy can't be here, I can typically.
Sounds good. I think for me, yes, there's more than tree replacement and tree taking down and all that stuff for sure. But I have neighbors saying, hey, this tree got cut down 2 years ago and I still have a tree. So I'm still trying to figure out what's the process here. Because he was given a list of trees 2 years ago. what's next?
So, okay, let's start with the point of where the tree comes down. I'd love to have someone involved with Copyright Tree Service or whoever our arborist is.
Willing to go with Aiden, right?
Yes, Aiden Hostetler, great guy, insanely knowledgeable. I think he would rather burn his house down than watch a tree have to come down.
Which is the guy I want.
Yeah, so he is, anything and everything he can do to save it, is what he will do.
Yep.
And it's fun listening to him talk. Just highly knowledgeable, very smart guy, from Copyright Tree Service. So I would like a tree board member to be involved with that, which is great. And then from that point, once we take it down, the wheels can start immediately. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do to replace this tree? Because typically when if they're as timely as they have been, they'll be in within a week and they'll grind it, they'll repair everything, they'll throw down dirt, grass seed. And it would be awesome if we could come in within a few days after that and say, here's your tree. And establish contact with them. Here's the choice, here's your selection of trees. Choose a tree, where would you like it placed? And then we probably have to determine, okay, if it's a town tree especially, it needs to go in the easement, so we would determine, okay, it can go anywhere in here. Where's the best place to plant it? Maybe even some instructions along the way. Maybe a brochure that says, here's your new tree, here's how you can make sure it stays healthy and continues to grow, et cetera, et cetera. That's how I envision it. So I would say, once a tree is down, we've got trees, like you said, 2 and 3 years, and some more, and that's several years. So it would be, once it happens, once we get all caught up, and then as we move forward, there's always trees every single year that need to come down, or that come down because of storms or whatever, and then we have to come in and clean the rest of it up. Somebody from the tree board we could literally make that person's contact information available and say, Zach, here, hey, Joe and Missy Smith down on East Harrison, they lost their maple tree, blah, 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 blah. Here's their information. Go ahead and reach out to them. And so it triggers what happens next. So you reach out, hey, I'm Zach Delshaw, with the tree board, I want to pop out. It would be cool. It would just be so cool. That personal touch, someone's there and saying, here's your selection.
Right.
Pick it out, let's do this, and let's move forward.
So the last thing we want is for someone to think there's not a tree board, and they think, oh, well, I guess I'm in charge of planting this tree. They put a tree there that really shouldn't be there, which is gonna cause problems.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So bring that,
One, because I don't think they should have to pay for it, because we have a budget for it.
what's town tree?
Well, and how much though? Like if they want, that was another question, what if they want a older tree, a larger tree, are they willing, are we able to do that?
I think
We'll
we
accommodate to a certain level and they can
will
go on
accommodate
top of
to a
that.
certain level. And if
And
they
what
want
is that
anything
level?
beyond that, we'll have to determine that. And that could be a great discussion. What are we gonna determine? That's where you would want Randy and probably me, so that we can bring that up as a matter of an item that really should, that's a list that, or an agenda item that should be brought up to the council. Okay, so we've got this rock and roll tree board, and they want to go the extra mile. What if somebody wants to spade in a more mature tree? At what point do we say, okay, we're gonna carry it till here, but if you want to do anything beyond that, you can. We're only going to pay X amount.
And then who's planning it? You said our town has equipment for it.
We do not have equipment to spade anything in. We can hand plant. A lot of times they'll just go out and dig a hole, or if we have to, and it's bigger, it requires more, whatever, we can bring an auger if we need it, or we can bring a mini excavator, depending on what we need. But more times than not, it's guys going out with spades, shovels, digging a hole, planting the tree.
Do we think the town is going to be willing to do that, or do we need to?
The town will be willing to do that. But if you have others that you think would be willing to do that, or you would want them involved, then you will find the town say, absolutely. But then we would want to make sure that you're working in coordination with Public Works in case they need. For example, if you're part of the tree board, and let's say you have to go to whatever tree farm, and you're gonna do whatever, we're planning on replacing 10 trees. Then the town equipment can be, and we would have to figure out how to make this happen, but you could coordinate with town employees and say, hey, you need to go to the tree farm and we need to have these trees picked up, and then we need to deliver them at set addresses. Then you could have a planting crew that comes along. You might even be able to actually go, I think you have to have a town employee drive the vehicle. They might be able to, I don't know if we can modify that or not, I think it's something you can, but typically we have the 1 ton. If you're a town employee, you take it, you go get whatever it is you need. And then we can work, we can coordinate with each other, can communicate with each other. But we would love it if you guys would take the lead on that and say, hey, here's the 10 trees we want to get done. And now's the perfect time to be planting trees, by the way.
Exactly. That's the other thing. We're gonna miss
So
the window.
if we want to be expedient, what's your budget right now?
23 is what I got.
23 grand?
Yeah.
Well, what's a nice tree cost? $200-300?
Yeah, so it seems like,
So we could easily do 15, 20 trees probably. 10 trees.
Is what happened? I have 2 questions. So what happens to our budget at the end of the year if we don't use it? We lose it or does it roll over?
What happens is that $2,300 or 23,000? Oh, you got
23,000. Yeah, I've got a lot.
You got a lot of room for trees. You can buy big trees. No, you could build a building. What typically happens, you're apportioned so much, and I think it's $60,000.
Yeah.
So if you use all of that, great. And if you need more, then you can go to council and say, hey, our busy season, we're already through our budget and we need probably another $5,000 to continue doing the things that we want to do this season yet. If you don't use it, you don't necessarily lose it, but it won't necessarily roll either. So next year you get an apportionment for another $60,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So every year you'll have that until you determine, and I would love it to get to the point where it's like 60's not gonna cut it.
We're doing so much.
Because of that 60,000 is tree removal. And it's $3,000 to $5,000 a pop to remove a tree. $500 to $1,000 to grind the stone. So it goes quickly. And if we have storms and whatnot, it comes out of the tree board. And that's where you'll find the bulk of that budget will go.
Second question.
Yes.
It's unrelated. Christmas trees. Like, are we in charge of that? Is there a Christmas board? It's like,
No,
sourcing
it's a cool concept. You got Flickingers out here,
Yeah.
the tree farm. In terms of, you mean town Christmas trees or the big Christmas tree that goes here?
the big Christmas tree.
If you guys, right now, typically, I think what they've done in the past is somebody donates a tree.
Because I know last year they used the park.
They use the park.
And
Because
we're not
there was
having-
there was one town here at Chad Hamlin's place of business, and when they cut it down, it literally hit the ground and exploded. I mean, it hit, and there was nothing. It was just dry and dead. So when they actually picked it up, it was just like, yeah. And so they went out and cut down the tree out there. And I'm sure there were people who weren't happy about that. Now, it is
That's
the
what
goal.
they're there for.
Well, it is that one, primarily, that's one of the reasons they put that there.
As an emergency.
But they need to be replacing those. So there are trees that have died out there or whatever. And if we want to put a tree right back where that one was, I don't know how deep a pine tree goes.
I think it spreads out.
Okay, so we've got the equipment to remove that root wall, restore the ground as much as possible and plant a tree there, if that's even a possibility. But my guess is you can do that. We've got the capability of doing that, but we would need somebody who can. I'd love to see more trees, Christmas trees or big beautiful pines planted out there. So when we have these kinds of things, if we have to harvest them, we harvest them. But now there's a big gaping hole up there. So not real pretty for a park. But in locating, maybe you could be instrumental in locating others that would be, maybe through some kind of a communication or a website, Facebook page or whatever, they were looking for a Christmas tree. Does anybody know anybody? And could you guys could be very instrumental in making that happen. The tree raising ceremony, to me, it seems like an amazing thing to have the tree board involved with something like that. Yeah.
Who is in charge of it though? Is it you or is it?
Typically, it is the street department and this office. Yeah. And we can coordinate with each other. There's no problem. And as long as people are coming to me with ideas and they're not coming to me saying, what should we do? If they're coming with ideas, I will sit and I will listen and I will help facilitate as much as I possibly can. But again, that's where I would love to see the leadership and somebody say, hey, we're going to take this bull by the horns and make this thing happen. So, but that's a great question. And the more we can get involved with that, there's so many things we can do to promote the whole idea. I'd love it if somebody would talk about the history of the Christmas tree and the relevance of the Christmas tree and why the Christmas tree and why the evergreen, all of that, and make it part of that ceremony. Besides me crawling around underneath it, trying to get the electric bolts and getting shocked. But all of that. So,
Why don't we send some emails back and forth with what we need from town? And then we'll send that out and we'll come up with an agenda for next month.
Sounds good.
and I will encourage this. We have a council meeting at the beginning of every month.
Yeah, it was nice.
The first Monday is a work session, and the first Tuesday is the actual council meeting. If you guys would like an audience there, and you could say, hey, here's what we want to do in terms of, here's some of the communications we've had, this is what we would like to see moving forward. And then and then actually address the council and introduce yourselves. I'm not sure everybody knows you, but introduce yourselves and say, this is what we're doing. We can get it on the agenda. We can say, hey, the tree board is going to do this, this, and this. If that's something you would like to do, we would be very open to that.
I have no problem.
And say, hey,
I'm a public speaker.
you're good at it. I like it.
I think I have your email.
It is.
Zach's.
I know.
Exactly.
I can write it down for you.
It's simple. Rob at Tom Walker.
I got your email.
You don't have Zach's?
Yeah. Got yours. We're clear. We're straight.
What did you play soccer with Tyler?
I did.
Did you guys graduate together?
He's a year older than me.
Okay.
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 I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
and I will tell you, as long as you guys are focused and want to move forward, I will facilitate as much as possible. I will drop what I'm doing and I will come. As
Yeah,
much
I
as
think
possible.
one of the first, I'm fine, this is what I feel like the board is supposed to do, to take over these responsibilities. I want to take over Arbor Day. You have to apply for that every year and do all this stuff, right?
Yep.
That should be us.
That should be a stack of paper on your desk saying
I
you did
concur.
everything, and you say, okay.
I concur.
That's easy. And I don't think that's a lot of work for you, for one, but
It's a thing on.
it is something that you have to do that
Well,
you shouldn't have to do.
Well, and the point of the matter is yes, exactly. If we have a tree board, why am I doing this?
Right.
If we have a park board, why am I looking for park benches? I can help facilitate. I can direct you to Barco and say, here's a great catalog, consider it. If you need more information, I'll help you with that. But I need to focus on town ordinances and, properties that are falling into disrepair and empty buildings and crappy car lots on the corner. I'm supposed to focus on improving the vitality and creating this group, if you will, of fired up people who want to see Walkeroosa become a better place to be. Groups like the tree board, groups like the park board, and then we can all come together and say, wow, let's divide and conquer. And here's some things that we would love to see in terms of trees and other beautification and other plant life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, it might become more than just trees eventually.
We're just green, right? We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what this is, and
Yeah.
nobody's really telling us, so.
There's some sort of box with these edges. We don't know what's in the box. We don't know how far the edges go. Like, we'll grow into whatever box we're
Yeah.
going to.
Is it a square box? Is it- What is it? So, this encourages me. And I'm glad we finally got to, I mean, it's been, already a few weeks since we've had our last conversation, so it fires me up that the two of you are sitting here. Stevie seems fairly focused.
Yeah, she's great. Russell's fine. And Steve's fine too. I think he's got a lot of knowledge. I don't think he really wants to be here though, which is, I think Annette is telling him he should be here,
You know?
which is fine. But if he doesn't want to be here, that's fine too. And maybe we just consult him because he has a lot of
Oh my
knowledge.
goodness, he is highly knowledgeable.
Yeah, he knows a lot about
He's very, very
it.
knowledgeable.
Super helpful. But I don't want to waste his time either.
I mean, it's what he does.
Exactly.
That's what he does. Incredible resource. So, okay. All right. Well, then typically at the end of the meeting, then when you have everybody here, somebody would motion to adjourn. I second the motion. All those in favor? You don't have to do that right now.
Oh, good. Thank
No,
goodness.
but it might even be like when we actually did meet, and like when, and you guys could assume whatever roles you want in terms of leadership. But I think one of the first emails that could go out to your group is, we need to organize. And we need to structure ourselves, and we have to follow a particular set of rules and a guideline, an outline, if you will. We have to present an agenda, and it has to be written. It's gotta be 48 hours ahead of time. You can just come up with all those directives and then organize.
Yep.
Awesome.
We're gonna get organized. We'll be ready for next month.
Yes.
I'm at your beck and call.
Okay, you're gonna hear from us because we need a list of
I love it.
trees.
We need to get that tree list around. In fact, before I leave, I'll send an email to Katie that says, we need to get that list of everybody.
Okay.
Which wanting trees. I can think of like 5 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It says October 17th as the next meeting.
Yep.
That is a Friday.
Huh?
So,
No, it's supposed to be the first Monday. October 17th is the
First or the third Monday?
Third Monday, I'm sorry. Did I say first?
yeah,
The third Monday,
third Monday, so that would be the 20th. That's what I
not the 17th.
not 17th.
Okay.
John Road.
That's a Monday? Oh, the 20th is, yeah.
Okay,
This is the third Monday, so 20th.
20,
I have these in my calendar, but yeah, I guess I don't have them. 20th.
I'm encouraged. I hope you guys are, and I apologize, you guys, for just the lack of guidance up to this point, but here we go.
During COVID, I was in vet school, just started, and all of our clubs were shut down for the first year. And basically didn't get to do anything for like a year and a half or so. So we had like a break in communication with the people who were always doing stuff and what the club should look like. And then we had to basically start it all over. And this is very similar. You know,
Well,
there's-
and I think with the transition between previous town manager, and then they went 5 or 6 months without a town manager, and a lot of things fell through the cracks. So when I came in, they're like, hey, good luck.
So this
They're
is
like,
my
where do you
first
want me
time
to start? Wherever you want to. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So all that being said,
That's also fine, we just need to know that.
Like, I'm fine with starting this all up. We can start working formalities, organization, leadership, form of communication between what we should be doing and what we can do in
I love
the
it.
future. Like, I'm ready for it. I'm organized like that. So you definitely make it happen.
okay. Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you.
Again, appreciate your patience and your willingness. That's impressive. So, awesome. Thank you, thank you.
Can you check your email?
Yeah, I got you.
You did get it? Okay. I'll probably send something to you this week if you are waiting on me, then send something to me, but I think we should talk about what we need and what our agenda should be for next month.
I'll put in my calendar that